Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and today I'm going to talk about Dick Tracy's special, Tracy Zooms In. This is a recent Warren Beatty television special. What the Dick Tracy specials are is in about 2008, he made a thing called Dick Tracy Special. I actually reviewed it about 10 years ago. So this is sort of a sequel. If you were subscribed from back then, leave a comment, be like, I never thought he'd make another one, and he did. But the purpose of that special was because Warren Beatty bought the rights to Dick Tracy way back in the 80s. He bought the screen and TV rights. He made Dick Tracy, pretty normal thing to do. And then he kept saying he was going to make Dick Tracy 2 and not doing it. Now, Tribune wanted their, intellectual property back, and Warren Beatty was like, no, and then made the Dick Tracy special to hold on to those rights to have more time to develop Dick Tracy 2. And as he, hasn't made Dick Tracy 2, and legally the original Dick Tracy, or the first Dick Tracy special, held up in court to show that he was legally using the character of Dick Tracy. So, of course, to retain the rights, well, since it's been a while, since 2010 to 2023, I guess Warren Beatty felt he needed to make a new Dick Tracy special. So thus, this one is born. Now, there's actual continuity, I'm not joking, between the two specials. One is Leonard Maltin is in both, as well as Warren Beatty and Dick Tracy exist within the same universe and just sort of look like each other, and Dick Tracy thinks Warren Beatty's too liberal and stuff. So it starts off, Ben Mankiewicz is in his office, Leonard Maltin shows up, which, to be honest, I think that sounds like an average day for Ben Mankiewicz, but he shows up and he's going to help him with the Dick Tracy questions because he interviewed him last time. So Leonard Maltin and Ben Mankiewicz decide to interview Dick Tracy. They interview him for a while. Leonard Maltin picks up a phone, says nothing, does it for a while, and then hangs up, and then gets a call back where people do talk and gets Warren Beatty to also be on the Zoom call that Dick Tracy's in. And Dick Tracy and Warren Beatty are in the same Zoom call. They actually talk to one another this time. And then they discuss things. They discuss cinema. Warren Beatty or Dick Tracy don't like that people treat movies like they're books now and stuff like that. They have a long exchange about how they were supposed to meet at this place called the Polo Club, which sounds like a total old guy restaurant. Warren Beatty says, I left a message at the restaurant, which isn't like a thing people do in modern times. Like, I babysat in the 90s, so I do know what it was like to do that, but it went out of fashion pretty quickly. So no one, you just sort of text someone or just call them on their cell phone. I guess Warren Beatty doesn't have one of those, or Dick Tracy doesn't. I don't know. But you eventually see them eating at the Polo Club, and you also throughout the special see Dick Tracy commenting mainly on Warren Beatty's Dick Tracy. He does talk somewhat about the other Dick Tracys, which he did in the last special as well. It seems like Warren Beatty is an actual fan of Dick Tracy, to be honest, like the length at which he's talked about the many films of Dick Tracy. So they do, and you get the impression that Warren Beatty and Dick Tracy want a more realistic Dick Tracy, which sounds frankly horrible. Why did you keep these rights for so long? I like the 1991. It was crazy. It was weird. Like it was so colorful. Like the cinematography was amazing. Why would you? Anyway, he keeps bringing up how like Dick Tracy can't punch 7 guys with one punch. It's just like, these are always a fascination to me. I had read about Dick Tracy's special, and when I used to watch a lot of TCM, anytime there'd be a Dick Tracy movie marathon, because they had the rights to the Dick Tracy special, they would play what was at the time the most recent Warren Beatty thing. And so there was a Dick Tracy marathon, I believe, or they played some Dick Tracy this week. I don't have TCM anymore, unfortunately, but they did a new special. Apparently he contacted Turner Classic Movies about making another one. He co-directed this with Chris Merrill, who helped make the last Dick Tracy special. I was a kid when Dick Tracy came out. I do have a certain nostalgia for it. And I get that, like, hey, we just saw Michael Keaton's Batman in a commercial during the Super Bowl 2 days after this. And I'm sure Warren Beatty is in a great spot right now where he could totally make this, Dick Tracy movie, which was supposed to be the next Batman series. It totally kind of makes sense nostalgia-wise of any time. Or get someone else to be Dick Tracy and he's the older, wiser Dick Tracy. Warren Beatty's a weird guy. He really hasn't made that much. I think he's made almost as many Dick Tracy specials as he's made actual movies in the 2000s. He's only made Town and Country and Rules Don't Apply. I haven't seen Town and Country, which is a legendary comedy bomb. I did see Rules Don't Apply, which is horrible. So based on these two and Rules Don't Apply, I like the Dick Tracy specials more. Warren Beatty's like a guy who the previous generation really respected. Certain of his movies are my all-time favorites, like Bonnie and Clyde, McCabe and Miss Miller, and I think he made some impressive stuff. But I don't know if he's like worth the hype that he's been given, just because he messed up being in Kill Bill. He just does all these like ridiculous things, and him making these Dick Tracy specials just add to this ridiculous behavior of someone who I do think doesn't really live up to the big like Warren Beatty persona. I guess he did mess up the La La Land Moonlight thing. That's another thing he did. But again, he doesn't do that much. I wish he'd either do something with Dick Tracy or do something interesting with someone or just like go away. But as for these things, I find them like odd fascinations. I think it's kind of cool he will only work with Turner Classic Movies right now. I guess that's like, not to be a jerk or something, but that's probably where most of his films regularly play at this point. And so I guess it makes sense. I wouldn't mind another Dick Tracy. I hope it's not realistic or something like that. It was fun seeing him and Dick Tracy together. This is very silly. Like, does his family know he does these? Like, I almost want someone to ask Annette Bening, like, is he okay? Like, you still want to do this whole, like, Dick Tracy thing and stuff? I don't know what the point of this is other than this old dude retaining the rights for something, maybe somewhere, sometimes. And I don't even know if this is like where you'd put a new Dick Tracy or what you would do with it or who would direct it or anything like that. Or if Warren Beatty will be agreeable enough to actually make it happen. I just know that like it's totally bizarre that like he's made these specials, which sound like the first one sounds like something you'd put on a legal brief. At least this, like, it started that way, and then it says ... Tracy zooms in. Like, why is he zooming in? And like, at first I thought, oh, maybe Warren Beatty's worried about like COVID and stuff, but then at the end they have that shot at the Polo Club, and clearly like he's going to restaurants and stuff. So like, why zoom? It's like, I don't really get it, and it's like, seems like he zoomed a little bit, but like, I don't know what to make of this sometimes, but it is a truly bizarre, strange special. It is just really made for someone to retain the rights of something that they really, at this point, should either do something with or give up. I don't know what he's done with the development of Dick Tracy 2 over the years, or if anything, but this is a truly bizarre way to keep the rights to a franchise. Like, Sony makes Spider-Man movies at a certain frequency because they can lose the rights, but I don't know if anyone has ever looked this silly and odd as Warren Beatty, still putting on the yellow hat and coat to be Dick Tracy all over again. So it does. I think the first one felt a little more nostalgic because I couldn't believe he did it, and this is like, oh, he's doing it again. I don't know if he can really do this again. I think this is maybe the last shot, but I didn't think he'd make another one after that one. So we'll see if there's a Dick Tracy 2, but the Dick Tracy specials are a weird, strange, kind of old Hollywood guy's way to hold on to rights for something that I don't even think he understands why he needs to hold on to the rights for it anymore. And we're just sort of like watching him try to figure it out, I guess, but instead just sort of like going on about, or instead just like having a mouthpiece for his own like views on cinema, the Polo Club, a restaurant in LA, his various issues with a movie that he directed in 1990. It's an interesting watch. I don't know if I really want to watch either of these ever again, but they're fun to talk about and they're fun to experience once. I hope Warren Beatty has fun making them, and messing with the Tribune again and not letting anyone make any more Dick Tracy stuff unless he decides he wants to. So if you have seen Dick Tracy's special, Tracy Zooms In, and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to.